Hey folks, it's Roy from Geeks Adventures. Woohoo! Just want to do a little toy thing today. Since I was doing a lot of movie stuff prior to this. And considering Guardians of the Galaxy came out recently, I thought, hey, right now there are probably a lot of folks who've seen the movies and keep, seeing online and everything and hearing folks talk about who's Richard Rider? Why do all these old guys keep whining about Richard Rider and all this other stuff? Well, here you have a collection. These are not the Guardians of the Galaxy from the comic books. What this is about. Let's see here. Peter Quill, Star-Lord, was a second-rate comic book character. Nobody cared. Go Google. You'll find a long explanation of who the heck he is. And then all of a sudden, though, is it like 4 years ago, 5 years ago? Marvel decided to do a giant revamp, a huge push for all of its secondary space characters. And so what happened is that they decided to they created a story called Annihilation, where a giant invasion is coming from the negative zone that is destroying the universe. And a whole bunch of misfit secondary characters all were brought in to take on the threat. So what happened is that characters like Peter Quill, this is the comic book version of Star-Lord, Drax the Destroyer, Gamora, and Richard Rider, Nova. Remember the Nova Corps from Guardians of the Galaxy? Yeah, the guys in the fighter jets that looked a lot kind of like X-wing pilots. The Nova Corps in the comic books, actually, this isn't much of an improvement. It's a lot like the Green Lantern Corps. Intergalactic cops, they wear suits, they get their power source from this thing called the World Mind. Along the way, as the story developed and they're trying to fight this invasion, fighting Thanos. Thanos gets more power, comes back, becomes more powerful, big bad. They have to basically recruit a whole bunch of other superpowered space-related beings. Characters like Beta Ray Bill, you got Quasar over here, Silver Surfer up here, Gladiator, and Ronan the Accuser. Yes, he looks very different from his version in Guardians of the Galaxy. In Guardians of the Galaxy, he's just pissed off. Well, actually, in the comic books, he's pissed off. But he's a more honorable soldier, judge, yada, yada, yada. He's a cool guy, okay? So all of these characters over the course of about 3 or 4 years are fighting assorted intergalactic enemies from all over the place. They are trying to take over the galaxy. Yeah, sounds kind of Star Wars-ish, but it's really, really cool. Things to look out for are the Annihilation storyline. Lots of trade paperback compilations out there. Also, the Thanos Imperative, which explains what happens when you try and tinker with things and things go wrong, and Thanos gets a little nuts. So in this case, though, what happens here, though, is that the relationships, let's see, Gamora and Peter Quill are in here. No, they didn't hook up. Instead, though, Gamora and Richard Rider hooked up. We never got an explanation for that in the comic book. It just kind of happened magically, and they were happy. Drax the Destroyer, his origin gets a lot more complicated, so I'm not even going to go there because I don't have 20 hours to explain it. He is very different from the movie version in that he's a badass assassin who is still after Thanos. But what happens, though, is that in the course of this giant intergalactic war occurring, Drax, the Destroyer, trains Richard Rider how to go from just being... The Nova Corps is a lot like a group of intergalactic cops, and Drax trains him how to be a military leader. And what happens is along the way, let's see, Gamora, still badass in the comic books. Think of her as like a psychotic version of Wonder Woman. And meanwhile, Peter Quill, he's still a smartass in the comics. Unfortunately, they don't go into great detail what happened that caused Star Lord and Richard Rider to create this great bromance. But they end up basically being a great pair that works together. And meanwhile, of course, you got Gladiator as a member of this interplanetary army called the Shi'ar. Oh shoot, the Shi'ar Imperial Guard. Yes, he's like Superman basically, except crankier. Beta Ray Bill. Yes, he's basically Thor, but he's an alien. Another long story. And of course, Silver Surfer. He's cooler than he was in the Fantastic Four movie, okay? Oh, and must not forget Quasar over here. Quasar. Actually, that's another one of those that's a long, complicated story, but he's kind of like Green Lantern, unfortunately, in the comics, in that he can manipulate energy, so on and so forth, and create constructs and all that kind of whatnot. So all of these people together, though, are fighting a giant army of bad, evil, buggy things in the Annihilation Wave, in the Annihilation story arc, and continuing on through all sorts of other adventures. So these are the characters that a lot of us in the comic books, we got to really enjoy. And the fun thing is actually exactly like in the film, to be frank. These were never headline characters. I mean, okay, Silver Surfer, yeah, big name, but, they were always just kind of around doing stuff. And the magical thing in the Annihilation story arc and the follow-ups to it, they breathe new life into them. Richard Rider, in his original incarnation, he's kind of like a cross between Spider-Man and Green Lantern, really. He gets recruited by the Nova Corps as a teenager. No clue what he's doing. So, by the time this story occurs, the character was created in the 80s, if memory serves. So right now, at this point, he's like in his late 20s. And seeing his character grow up and transform into this badass, John Connor-esque Minotaur. No, let me get something a little more contemporary. An Aragorn-esque kind of military leader. It's really, really cool. So anyway, that's what all these characters are. These are the folks that comic book fans like myself, we've been talking about a whole lot. And yes, you hear us always griping, where's Richard Rider and the Nova Corps? Who knows what's going to happen. But, just like Phil Coulson being dead, quote unquote dead, never say never, I guess. So anyway, there you go. Just a little alternative take on the Marvel interplanetary characters. So anyway, enjoy. Y'all have a good weekend. And as always, may the force be with you. May the odds be forever in your favor. And always, 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 always be good to each other, okay? Peace. Bye.